All right. Hi there, guys. Today is a Digital Tech Tuesday, and I'm going to highlight two resources that I think are pretty similar or would be um, different, but in the same sort of category. And one is TodaysMeet. Simply, this is a online discussion board generator for teachers to use. And so, you can kind of look through some of the details on the website. But I wanted to show you what that looks like on the inside. And so you would create a unique name for your room, and then you would just pick the duration of how long you want this conversation to be up and available for. So you could have this be a single conversation or a year-long conversation, kind of a running conversation in your classroom. And then anyone can join or logged in users. If you want to pay for the upgrade, then you can just select your students. And a couple other kind of analytics is you can get a complete transcript of this. So if you wanted to save or share or show this, or you wanted to project this out onto your screen in your room, or you wanted to hand this out in QR codes, or you just wanted to give people the link to get right there, it shows you sort of some of the details. And so let's go in and see what this looks like. It's pretty basic. There's some, and because it's basic, there's some good things and some challenges. So I already went in and put in this, and then I'm going to say I'm Steve, which is one of the real challenges of this, is there's no way to verify unless you get the upgraded feature that whose name is who. But if you trust your students, or you give them some sort of unique identifier that only they know, that might be a way to get around that and to preserve some anonymity if you're looking for that online. And so I'm going to add this, and so the most recent conversation comes up to the top, but because you are the creator of this poll, you can delete any comments that you don't want on the fly. It is also limited to 140 characters, so that students can't just kind of go on and on or post some giant thing that's going to take a long time for people to write. And this is, I think, a good tool to get students who maybe are less likely to participate in class discussion verbally, that you might get students who maybe process a little bit slower, introverts, that sort of thing, that it's just a different venue to have a classroom conversation. Once again, there's just tools here. They're what I already kind of showed you, but you could embed it like in Schoology, for example. And so a pretty good tool, but not perfect. The next one is PollEverywhere, and this is an interactive polling resource. So essentially the thing that I like the most, you can scroll through and read all this stuff, but is what they've done is you can embed them in virtually any presentation tool that most people would be using here. And so I want to show you what on the inside that looks like. Once again, it's free, both of these resources. And so you're going to, this is kind of what it looks like. And so creating a question, there's quite a bit of options here. So there's a simple A, B, C, D, what's your favorite food, right? And students have to choose from that, or word cloud, or Q&A, or ranking, but they really expanded their options since I started using it, and it's really interesting. So kind of an emotional scale or a leaderboard, or people can upvote. I like that. So if you wanted to brainstorm ideas, it might assign teams or priority ranking, or select something on a map. So there's some really cool a 2x2 matrix. You can do some cool stuff with that as well. And so there's definitely different question types. And if you wanted, right, you could assign that to a group. So I created one around deviance, something I do with my students. So that's a pretty good, a lot of options, especially for the price of free. And let me get in here. And so quickly, I wanted to show you a couple other things. So one, you can have lots of questions, right? I have lots of questions, and I've grouped them together. And so one, you can sort. You can lock a question. So if you don't want students to answer it, you can unlock it. You can group them so that a bunch of questions are all. So this is kind of a conversation that I wanted to use in a particular order. and you can ungroup them. You can clear them, which is what you're going to have to do. There is a limit when it's free like this on how many respondents you have, and then you can simply delete a question if you'd like. And so I'll show you kind of what this looks like on from the student end. And so this is what it looks like. But students, let me unlock this. And so essentially my students' conversations are going to kind of come up here. This is really old, back when I used to teach world history. But the important part is any device that can send a text or that has the internet access can respond to this. And so you can just text this number. So this is going to be like a phone number. So like 419, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then you're going to send this number in a text, and then students can respond however they would like. So you can see obviously students had a variety of responses, and so then you could go full screen, right? And you could see what this looks like. This is what it would look like in kind of the real setting. So you could have this up. Certainly you can do some moderation. You can schedule kind of a lock time, but I thought it was a pretty good tool to use. And so it's interesting to even talk to your students about people's responses. So what is the data telling us? Why do you think people responded the way they did? It offers some anonymity. So if students you think are going to have an unpopular opinion, or that they might be free to really express their true thoughts, where face-to-face sort of interaction might not happen. So this is just a different tool as opposed to using like a Google form or something like this. But I thought especially the question types that you can ask are really good. You can also import it. And so it's been a really good tool that I've used. So my hope is that you can show me something you've done, either with TodaysMeet or PollEverywhere, that you've used in some sort of capacity in class or with staff. And you can use this in your toolbox.